It's safe to say that Dark Universe has a bit of everything. A world-class dark ride, plenty of entertainment, and a spooky vibe unmatched like any theme park in America. But there's one main factor about this world that has me perplexed. Das Stakehaus, a vampire-themed restaurant that is in the heart of Dark Universe. Is it good? Is it bad? Stay tuned to find out as we dive deep into this restaurant, the history, some of the food, and my thoughts about this restaurant. Now, before we talk all about Das Stakehaus, we have to kind of go back in time a little bit and talk about how did we get to this. Now, the classic monsters have always been a part of Universal. If you didn't already know, way back before Minions Cafe took over, in the studios there was a Monsters Cafe. And that was a homage to the original Monsters, as well as some B-horror films that we all know and love. It was really cool restaurant. Unlike anything that is in studios, it had such a vibe to it, had such cool artifacts. And we'll talk about how this restaurant is much better than Das Stakehaus. I know that's controversial to say, I know, but I'll explain why a little later on. Now, sadly, in the year of 2022, Monsters Cafe closed its doors to make way for Minions Cafe, which coincidentally is my favorite restaurant in studios. So yeah. Catch 22. We got at least, Dark Universe out of this whole deal. Now, the experience is very odd, to say the least. Dr. Victoria Frankenstein is doing something in that castle. But we're going to head into Das Stakehaus. And she's brave.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. Good luck. I know. Maybe they won't notice, right?
It is in the middle of Darkmoor, kind of tucked off on the side. You go into this place, which is kind of have this, I guess, this feel of like this blue feel with the red. Very kind of creepy vibes to it. It's almost like you're going down into the catacombs. And it does have some stuff that's on the wall that looks very creepy, and the lighting kind of changes every so often. And I think that's about it for the experience of this restaurant. I mean, there are some great details in here, especially on the lamps. The lighting is really cool. It has sort of like the skulls on the lamp shades around. The chairs have all these bat symbols. There's these cool looking paintings on the wall and some dummies, or at least some, vampire bodies that are on the wall. This world is a little confusing when you look at the whole spectrum of Dark Universe. And I'm sure some people will do a deep dive and explain why this restaurant kind of makes sense. Kind of doesn't to me, especially because it's just a weird restaurant. Now, in this restaurant, I actually went twice. Once with my friend April and then by myself. Quite a unique experience both times, quite different. Ooh. So what we have here is some more fries, because you can never have enough fries. Ooh, orange sauce and then ketchup. Mm-hmm. And then you got the black bun. You got some blood on it, or some orange chicken blood. So here we have the red velvet death with some maggots. And it's like a coffin cake. I'll be interested if this is good or not. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of red velvet. Yes, I know I like chocolate cake, and some people are going to tell me they're the same thing. To me, they are not. I'm sorry to say that. The red velvet cake, very just plain. Nothing exciting about this, nothing flavorful. It just tasted like a plain piece of cake. I mean, you can pretty much find this kind of taste of a cake in your local bakery in a grocery store. That's what it tasted like to me. Like the chicken sandwich, on the other hand, I'm not the biggest fan of those buns that are different colors or dyed. Not a big fan of that. But the chicken sandwich itself tasted great. It was flavorful. It wasn't dry. It was a great chicken sandwich. Not truly anything mind-blowing, but just a nice average chicken sandwich. Now, the drink, on the other hand, is not exclusive to the restaurant, but it is exclusive to Dark Universe. You can't get it in any other places, Celestial Park, or anywhere else at Epic but Dark Universe. To me, it tasted really good. I'm not a wine drinker per se. Don't really enjoy wine. I like a few kind of beers and some mixed drinks. So this was kind of like nice and smooth. To me, it almost had like a wine taste to it, but not as dry and not as strong. It just felt like a nice, flavorful drink. Now, the second time I actually went, I had the chicken on a steak. Enjoyed it. It was pretty spicy, not super spicy, but it did have a little bit of kick to it. I cleaned the plate. I cleaned it. That's how much I enjoyed the chicken on a steak. It was very good. Now, the dessert, on the other hand, very weird. I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into, but to describe it, it almost tastes like a mousse cheesecake type of taste. It's very light. It's flavorful. It tasted good. And I liked the sauce that it had with it. But I will say, I didn't know, and there's no warning, there's nothing to state this on the menu itself, but I believe in the sauce itself, there's some sort of pop rocks or something to where it like fizzes or pops in your mouth or something. At least to me, that's what it felt like. Wasn't a big fan of that, but I still enjoyed the dessert nonetheless. I sat down. I didn't have any kind of service on my phone, so I couldn't place an order. I tried to connect to the Wi-Fi, couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. So next best thing, I thought, well, I'll just go and do the mobile order at the kiosk. Except for when I got there, I just stood there. No one explained to me how to order or where to go or anything. There was just no one there. I was just standing there until someone finally was like, oh, do you need, like, are you missing a drink or something? I'm like, no, I just need to place an order. So then they asked me, what table am I sitting at? Now, this was a problem because, well, I was by myself. I didn't really kind of technically have a table saved. I had all my stuff with me because I didn't want to leave it on the table for fear it would get stolen. So I brought all the stuff with me. So then I had to leave from the kiosk, walk over and try to figure out where I was sitting at, or at least the table that I wanted to sit at. Remember the number, go back to the mobile place, type it in, and hope someone is not sitting at that exact table, or else it's going to be a little weird. Das Steakhouse does not have a restroom. There is no restroom in this restaurant. So if you have to use it, you have to get up from the table and actually leave the restaurant and walk across the way to go to the other restrooms that are near the meet and greet area. That's the only restrooms they have. So now there's no way for me to kind of put this or say this, but the restaurant kind of feels kind of dead. Sorry for the pun. And I mean literally dead, like not just the dead zone, but it just kind of gives this weird dead vibe. It doesn't feel alive, and that's what I'm talking about when I say Monsters Cafe was a bit better, because at least Monsters Cafe had TVs on, you kind of had the audio going. There was lots of things for you to kind of digest and see in the restaurant. Lots of artifacts, lots of paintings, lots of props. It was a lot of cool stuff. And whether you sat in different rooms, that was kind of unique in different ways. This restaurant, it kind of all feels like it's one big mush. Whether you sit in one part or you sit in one room or this separate room, it's all kind of the same. It's just the only thing that changes really the painting behind you, whether you sit at the one with the bigger painting or the one with the shorter painting. That's kind of the only thing that's different, and the chairs themselves, but really that's it. Like the whole restaurant is just kind of one note. It is like moody, and that's it. Like you have these artifacts and you have these vampires on the walls, but it feels very just kind of just empty in a way. It's kind of interesting of how they would do this, because if you have walking characters that, you know, visit the Burning Tavern, why wouldn't you have vampires at this restaurant? It would seem kind of cool to have at least one or two characters that kind of just walk around and take photos or ask you about your food, or, you know, talk about the artifacts on the wall and stuff. I think that would definitely elevate this restaurant big time. Also to note, I think it would be kind of awesome if they added some of the food from the Burning Tavern and the cottage, at least the cinnamon rolls things, the cinnamon bites. That would kind of at least elevate the menu a little more, give you some more options like an appetizer, and definitely some more dessert. I know for me, it would definitely sell more, I think, because you get people that don't want to go to the Burning Tavern. Maybe it's too busy over there. It's too many people. So it would be nice just to walk into Das Steakhouse, sit down and order, you know, the garlic steak or some of the food, at least from the Burning Tavern over here. But all in all, it's quite a weird restaurant. It feels like there was supposed to be more here, but it felt like maybe they just kind of settled. And when you look at the past, where Monsters Cafe felt very entertaining, very active, very alive, and even its predecessor uniquely different, where it has music, it has all the minion artwork, you got minions making sounds. It's really, really kind of interactive and alive in a way. This restaurant feels very moody. It feels very quiet almost. Other than the color changing lights, there's some paintings on the wall. There's not really much to see here. And to be honest, if someone said they were only going to Epic for one single day, would I recommend that they try this restaurant over any of the other restaurants in the other worlds? Probably not. I would recommend Toadstool Cafe more than this. Not just because of the food, because it definitely has so much more cooler stuff to check out. The Paris one, that is really cool in itself, especially sitting out on a nice, you know, cool, breezy kind of day, not hot, you know, cooking day, but just a nice breezy day, sitting out there enjoying, you know, one of the drinks or a butterbeer and just watching muggles and wizards walk around. That is so unique. That's not to say I don't like the restaurant. I like it. I've been twice. I would definitely go again at some point in the future, but you know, there's plenty of stuff to try at Epic, plenty of stuff to try in every single world that I think are just a step above this one. And that is my review for Das Steakhaus. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know if you want me to do more of these type of videos or deeper dives. We still got to talk about Pizza Moon. That is a way interesting restaurant. Toadstool Cafe. We already did a review on the Paris one. So if you want to check out that video, click it right here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you on another video very, very soon. It's almost like 2 a.m. when I'm recording this, so I'm tired.